So I'm not happy with how this thing turned out, because in the end, by the time I went to attach the Velcro strap here, you can see it's really crooked, and it all kind of started with this bottom piece here, how that ended up attaching, and it didn't end up working right. So I'm going to take the entire thing out. I'm going to try it again. This was one of my boat show scores from the boat show last weekend, and this was 65 feet of 1/4 inch line, which normally would be like at least around the $1 or so per foot, and this one I got for around 30 bucks, so that was a good deal. The brand is Kaya Ropes, which I'd never heard of before. Apparently it's a rope manufacturer out of Turkey, and they're just now trying to establish, I guess, a US presence. My other boat show score was this hat, and it's an Island Packet Yachts hat that I got from Island Packet. It's kind of like a nicer, fancier hat. It's got like a little leather thing on the back there, which I kind of normally like a more sporty type hat, but this one's pretty cool, so I kind of like it so far. It's nice and soft. It's got a nice inside breathability and such. So far so good. So the winds are super gusty today. It's 20 knots, gusting into the 30s. So not a very good day for like a nice relaxing sail. So what I'm gonna do instead is wash the boat. Okay, I got the boat pretty clean. I didn't do like a super deep cleaning, but it's getting colder, and at some point they're going to start turning the water off at the dock, so I want to make sure I keep it clean toward the latter part of the season, so that way I don't get stuck with the water shut off and the boat's filthy. I like to keep the boat clean just because it's easier to see things, you know, when they start to break. And you notice missing pieces or whatever, or things that are falling out if you go over the boat really well when you do a cleaning. It always surprises me, a lot of people with sailboats, especially older sailboats, they don't clean them. They don't like keep them in any kind of good maintenance. A lot of times, surprisingly, racing sailboats, I don't know how you would notice if something was going wrong with your boat, or if you're missing parts. But I think it's always a good idea to keep it clean. I mean, if anything else, if you got time and you don't have a lot of money, like, you could at least keep it clean. So that's what we did today. Got it all cleaned up, and now I'll go work on that sewing project. I'm at the boat today doing some initial winterization, and the reason why I say initial is because I couldn't buy enough antifreeze. I usually go to Walmart to get antifreeze because they usually have a fairly good deal on it, and they usually have a bunch, but it is now, I guess, end of October, so maybe that's part of why they're out. But they had like 5 gallons left, so I bought everything they had, and it was almost $4 a gallon, which seems to me kind of high. Normally, I feel like recently I was only paying like $2 a gallon, so I'm not sure if that's just what I think I paid for it, or what it really cost that much. It's usually costs more at West Marine. I know last year I had to end up buying a couple gallons there, but this year I'm going to have to find some place that has some cheap antifreeze. As luck would have it, though, I happened to be driving by the hardware store near my house, and they said they were selling it for 2 gallons for $7, so that's $3.50 a gallon. So I may stop by there and see if I can get some more gallons to do this. I went ahead and used the 5 gallons that I had, plus a half gallon I had left over from last year, and I think I was able to get everything pretty much done. I'd like to get some more in for the water heater, because the water heater takes a lot of gallons to fill that up and make sure you get a good percentage of antifreeze in the system. But right now there is some antifreeze in the hot water lines. I'd also like to get a couple gallons just to keep on board to do the engine. So if we go out anytime during the winter when the possibility exists to freeze, then I'd like to have a couple gallons on board So once we get back, I can re-winterize the engine. The other thing that I did for the first time is I used those garden hose fittings. So this is the garden hose fitting that I'm talking about, right back that spot right there. It's a little T that comes up from the seacock on the bottom and comes up to there, and that garden hose cap seals it off, and that's where I thought I had the leak before, the air leak that was letting air into the raw water system. So what you do is take that off there, and then you can put antifreeze in there. So the way I did it was I took this old pocket hose. So this is a pocket hose, one of those hoses that expand when you fill it with water, and it broke on me, and it was this outer covering that they put on it that broke, and I think it's because I left it sitting in the sun for a long time. So this part broke here, and I went ahead and kept the rest of it because it's still got like a good fitting here, and it's got this rubber tubing inside. So I cut off an end of it, and what I'll do is I'll take this end here, and I hook this end up to the end of a funnel, and I take that and I hook this up to the garden hose fitting on the engine, and then that way I can just take this straight up to the cockpit with the funnel, fill the funnel up with antifreeze, and then start the engine, and then it just sucks it out of the funnel. So that way I don't have to be in two places at once and try to start the engine and then come down here and open up the strainer and pour antifreeze in, which is what I normally would do. But this time that seemed to work well. So it only took about less than a gallon of antifreeze to get the engine winterized. I was able to get the air conditioner winterized the same way, just by using that garden hose fitting, but I couldn't get the air conditioner to start because I've been having problems with it for all year. And I never use the thing, and that's probably why it's not working, because if you don't use something, then it tends to fail more frequently than it should. And I never use the thing. I'm debating whether to just pull it out because it never gets used, but then it's one of those things that's nice to have when you do need it. So I'm gonna have to work on troubleshooting it next year and figure out why it keeps on breaking down on me. I thought I had it kind of figured out. I thought maybe the strainer wasn't letting enough water through, so I might kind of look at that again next year. It also could be getting air in the system the same way the engine did with that garden hose fitting. I did replace the cap on it though, the washer inside the cap, so I don't think it's that, but it's going to take some more troubleshooting to figure that air conditioner out. But I was able to winterize it just by using the funnel and just dumping the antifreeze in the funnel, and then it just gravity fed through the system, and I could see it running outside, so I knew it got all the way through. And so that's pretty much, I think, everything that needs to be winterized, with the exception of I do like to dump some antifreeze in the bilge and then run the pumps just to make sure that the lines, especially the hand pump, because the hand pump can have water inside of it, and if it freezes over the winter, you can break the valves and the seals and stuff in there. So I'll need to do that at some point. Once I get a couple more gallons, throw some in the bilge and run it through the bilge pumps. Then I think I'll be set for the winter. But it is only end of October, early November, and today, I think yesterday it was like 83 degrees. It was a record high or something like that. Today is fairly warm, but there's no wind today or yesterday, like zero wind. So we could have some good sailing days in the winter. I'd like to try to get out sometime this winter. I didn't get out as much last winter as I wanted to. We keep the boat in the water all year long. So if we have some good weather, then we'll be out on the boat this winter. I'm not going to call this the end of this season yet. I think I'm giving another week or so, to a couple weeks, to figure out if I have anything else that I want to film for the channel. But then after that, oh no, I'll take that back. I do have one more thing to film. Coming up in a couple weeks, I think, is the Eastport Tug of War. That's actually the Annapolis Eastport Tug of War, but we're on the Eastport side, so we always go over to the Eastport party. And it is nearby here. And then there's a big party that they have, and they do a tug of war across Spa Creek. So they have this rope that goes from Annapolis across Spa Creek to Eastport, and they do a tug of war to raise money for various charities. So I did a thing on that last year, and we'll go again this year because it's always fun, and then I'll do a video on that as well. I'll probably also have some sewing projects that I'll do over the winter. I'm not quite sure what. I'm in the process of fixing that window in the panel that goes between the Bimini and Dodger. So I'll think of something else. I have some other projects that are not related to boating that I'm going to be sewing. So I might include that. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'll most likely do some kind of sewing thing this winter. So I think that's all I've got for this video. Not a lot, but I'm trying to keep the video short anyway. So I'd like to thank all the new subscribers, because I've had like a bunch of new subscribers as a result of this Annapolis boat show video. So thank you guys for subscribing and liking the videos, and keep watching, and I'll try to get more quality content on the channel in the months to come. Thanks. See you all later.